Hello and welcome to this tutorial. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how I use CSVs and AI to automate my entire Shopify store. You don't need any coding experience for this. I'm going to show you step by step how to do this. Let's jump into it. Now, you may or may not know that products on Shopify are actually controlled by what is known as CSV. If you just go on Google and say, what is CSV? You'll see that it's basically a spreadsheet, right? A comma separated value. All that means is spreadsheet, right? If you just think of it like that. So it's a plain text file that stores tabular data like a spreadsheet, okay? So if you go on Google again, type in Shopify CSV example, and you click on the first one here, and you press download a sample file, right? And then click this button here, you'll actually download a sample CSV. So this is my practice Shopify store that I'm going to use. I'm going to show how to do what I'm talking about. So if I just import here, so I'm going to say upload a Shopify formatted CSV file, press next, just drag and drop from my downloads like that, and then say upload and preview. What this is going to do is it's going to take Shopify's sample CSV file so that I can show you guys how you can take your own CSV files and start to edit them with AI. Just a very quick side note, guys, if you want all of this automated for you, check out SEOgrove.ai. This is a tool that I made built around the concepts that I'm talking about today. If you don't want to worry about doing this for yourselves, check out SEO Grove. Like I said, we have a special offer right now. It's $99 for the first month, the second month, and the third month, which rolls over to $499. And basically what we're saying is we can replace a 5,000 a month agency with AI, or you can do everything yourselves for free. I actually got this idea from Reddit, by the way, so shout out to the Reddit, Shopify Reddit, even though they won't let me post on there, but shout out anyway, because it's a really, really good place to see what people are asking about. So now that we have our products, we have basically what you guys have, which is a Shopify store. So what we can actually do is we can press export here. Now you can start with just a few products, right? So you can select a few products, current page, for example. You don't have to do all of your products at once if you're not comfortable with doing mass changes. However, obviously optimized would be doing them all at the same time. By the way, guys, SEO Grove will be one of the links in the description and also the pinned comment, just so that you know. So I'm going to press allow here because I'm on Mac, so I need to allow the download, and we'll see that we actually have a product export now. So if I open this up, maybe you guys can start to see what I'm talking about. Ignore this, guys. This is just RuneScape. You don't need to know about that. So what this is, if you look at the file, it's just a spreadsheet. That's literally all your Shopify store is in terms of your products. It's just a spreadsheet, right? So if you understand this concept, you can do whatever you want with it. Now, one thing that I like to tell people once you get to this point is just put it in a Google Sheet, right? So that you can understand it. So let's go to sheets.new, right? And we'll go to, actually, yeah, let's click on this green button here, right? Press open file picker, go to upload, and then drag and drop the product export like that. If I'm going too quick for you guys, just rewind, okay? You can rewind, you can put it slower if you want. So you can start to see maybe what this actually is. It's just a spreadsheet, right? All of your products are just a spreadsheet. So the couple of things you can do, you can wrap here so that you can see things a bit better, maybe make it a bit longer, right? Maybe make this one a little bit longer too, or shorter actually is probably better. So you can start to see everything. These are the 3 products that we have online. This is all of them. So you can see sizes, for example, are a new row. Same with new images, etc., etc. If you're wondering how images work as well, the really good thing about Shopify images is if you put any image link here, it will become a Shopify image link. Even if you took it from a competitor, I'm not saying you should go to your competitors and take their product images, but even if you did take it from a competitor, any image links you put here will actually automatically become Shopify image links, okay? So you only need to know these basic things to basically be able to do whatever you want with your products, right? So let's say we wanted to optimize our titles, right? Right now, these titles are pretty boring. Now, there's actually a way to do this. This is using a premium Google account, just so you guys know. You can say Ask Gemini, for example, or you can click here, Ask Gemini, and you could say, or even you can click at the top here, sorry, like that, and then click B, and you could literally say, can you optimize my titles for SEO, please? Right now, they are boring, right? So let's see, it will just run through this very, very quickly. It should understand exactly what I mean. Okay, so I just want the title. Okay, so after a little bit of back and forth, you can see that's exactly what it did. So just to show you guys as an example, we could now go File, Download, Download as CSV. Now this is just a very simple example that I'm just showing you guys. And then we go to Shopify, right? Import, Upload, Next, drag and drop our new CSV, right? Overwrite products with matching handles. Make sure you press this, it's extremely important. And then watch all of our titles here, watch. So I'm going to press upload, import. So the product name itself won't change, but the product, okay, so it does change, perfect. So now you can see this is the title. So in less than 5 seconds, we just optimized all of our product titles, right? And you can do this with Gemini. It's perfectly fine to do this with Gemini. And if this suits you, then just stop the video there. We're completely done with this process. But if you want to do something slightly more complicated, let's say you have millions of products or thousands of products, but it's probably not the best way to use this. Although Gemini does have a very, very good context window, it's not necessarily the best way to do this. So I would argue that the best way to actually do this is using something called OpenRouter. If you don't know, OpenRouter is basically, as it says here, a unified interface for LLMs. You don't really need to understand what that means necessarily. It just basically means if you want to run any LLM, any model, you can use OpenRouter. You don't have to use OpenAI or Anthropic or Google. You can just use OpenRouter instead. And I would recommend you do actually use Gemini, right? So you can search Gemini here. Gemini Flash Preview, this specific model right here, I will tell you, is extremely cheap and extremely efficient. And also, the most important thing is it has 1 million context, which means that it has a very, very large memory, right? Again, you don't need to know too much about AI itself to be able to achieve what we're going to achieve here. So I'm just going to click on Quick Start, right? You will need an API key, so you can also just press Create API Key here. You will need some money on this account as well. So I'm just going to get my API key, right? And then I'm going to start building a prompt for probably a free version of ChatGPT. I will try and use a free version just so we don't have to even pay for that, right? Okay, so from here we can press TypeScript. I think TypeScript is probably the best, or maybe OpenAI TypeScript. So we'll press copy here, and then we'll put this, right? And then all I'm doing is I'm going to say, please make me a Google app script that optimizes my title and description field in my spreadsheet. And then we can just give like this. These are some of the column names. It needs the column names just so it knows how to, God's sake, just so that it can kind of have a complete picture, right? So that's all you have to do. All I've done is a very simple prompt, some context on my spreadsheet or your spreadsheet, an API key, which we generated before. And like I said, you will need to top up, right? So go to credit. So to actually add credit, all you do is just top right, go to credits, right? And then just add credits. It's super, super easy. You won't need a lot. If you're just doing titles and descriptions, you probably only need $2 to $10 credit, right? So don't go over the top with how much you actually put on. And then from there, all we've got is from the Gemini page itself, we went to Quick Start, and then I'm telling you to use OpenAI TypeScript. I might be wrong. We might have to use curl or even Python. We'll check in a second. We'll check together. But I'm pretty sure this is the correct one, right? So we don't actually need to necessarily specify. And like I said, I will try and use a free ChatGPT. So actually, we'll go to private window here, and we'll go to ChatGPT. And this is a completely free version of ChatGPT. So I'll just press enter here and let's see how it does. Okay, so we can read through this together. Got it. You want a Google Apps script that connects to an AI model, OpenRouter API similar, and optimizes your title and body fields. Okay, perfect. This is exactly what I want. This looks like it's done it perfectly. The prompt is sure, fine. Let's give this a go. So let's press copy here. Where does this actually go? In Google Sheets, extensions, app scripts, paste this code, right? So let's just follow instructions perfectly. So extensions, app scripts. I will be alt-tabbing quite a lot here, guys. Extensions, app scripts, paste this code. So here, and Control S to save. And then we need to paste the code there, replace the OpenRouter key. Okay, so you don't really want to put OpenRouter keys like this in the middle of code, but just for this video, I am going to do that. What you should do is after you've done this, guys, just delete this code. Just it's security reasons. Okay, it's already put my code, perfect. Just for security reasons. Don't worry too much about it. It's just as a developer or as someone who, I don't count myself as a developer, guys, but as someone who has worked with developers for the last few years, they will all tell you to just be careful. So just be careful leaving an API key in something like that. Okay, so the model, everything is fine. We should just be able to press run here and then it should work. So let's go review permissions. Let's give it permission to run. Advanced. I think this here. Yeah, select all, continue. This is only if you're not the developer of the app, be careful with this kind of stuff. Okay, so we have an error early on here, unexpected token JSON. I'm not really sure what that is. This is likely because we're using a completely free version of ChatGPT, but we'll just see if we can vibe code a fix to it. The model is returning markdown formatted JSON like this, which you can't parse. Okay, fine, no problem. So when it does this, what it's done here is it's basically split the code up. If you're not a developer, you don't want to deal with this at all. Okay, so what you want to say is, please give me the entire code without breaking it up so I can just copy and paste. I am not a developer. You want to say this to ChatGPT probably quite frequently because OpenAI will have kind of trained this model to not be verbose, like not use too many tokens, because obviously it's a free version of ChatGPT, right? They don't want to just drain their entire bank just to help you for free, right? That's just not how business works. So you have to kind of tell it to not do that, right? So I just hit refresh there because for some reason I couldn't run it. So we'll just press run again here and we'll see if this works this time. And we should see something start to change here. If you want to know if you want to know whether things are actually running, you can go to OpenRouter and go to activity. And if you see basically this pop up, then you know that it is running, right? Optimization complete, perfect. So I'm just going to just Control Z everything really quick, just so everything is reset because I want to actually see the optimizations come in here. So we'll run this again. This time we should see the optimizations actually come in. Okay, so this might not happen to you guys. It looks like it hasn't worked, but if I scroll all the way to the end, you can actually see that it has added these. This isn't what I want. And also this elevate your style shit, just be extremely careful with. It's very, very AI, right? And people will kind of potentially stay away from that kind of stuff. So what you want to do to get around that is first of all, you want to say to ChatGPT, do not make new columns, but replace the content in the current columns. Also, instruct the AI to use language a 7-year-old would understand with no complex play on words or anything else like that. This is just a way to kind of ensure that you're not going to have issues with customers being like, well, this is obviously AI. It's not going to be as like nice, the writing, if that makes sense, but just just be really, really careful with things like step into and dive into and all of that stuff. People really, really don't like that. So just be wary of that. We're very, very careful with that kind of stuff at Grove, for example, because people just don't like that kind of stuff. Okay, so we'll go extensions again, app scripts, then Control A, Control V, Control S to save. On Mac, it would be Command A, Command V to paste, and then Command S to save. Just be wary of that, guys. Actually, we'll just stop that. We'll just delete these two columns here because they're not needed. So I clicked on the top one here, right? And then hold Shift and then click the second one. And we will delete columns. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, it seems to have actually worked this time. Let's just do Control Z instead. Let's see if that works. Okay, so let's do that now. By the way, guys, you can do things like images as well. If you're curious about that, leave a comment down below and I'll have a look at doing some image stuff for you as well if you want to make your product images perfect, for example. So this should be the final time that we do this. So extensions, app scripts here, and then let's just say run. And then we're going to let this run. We should see the changes come in pretty quickly. And we should see that the body HTML is slightly better now. Okay, there we go. So maybe 7-year-olds is slightly too young. Maybe 11 would be better. This is a little bit patronizing potentially, right? And also now it says for grown-ups and kids. So take things with a grain of salt. It should be understandable by an 11 to 12-year-old or even 15-year-old or whatever. Be careful with that stuff. It's just to remove the step into and dive into and elevate your blah, blah, blah that people are just not a fan of, right? So luckily, guys, because this is so cheap, like if I just go and I show you guys like what we've spent, I don't think I've even spent 1 cent so far. Obviously, there are only 3 products here, so it will be slightly different for if you have 1,000 products. If you times this by 1,000, you're getting up to 3 cents or 30 cents. Math's not mathing in my head right now. But yeah, just be careful if you're running a lot of this. Obviously, the costs can go up. My advice to you guys would be to do kind of $10 at a time so you can get an idea of how much your entire store will cost. And then you can decide whether, in your opinion, it's worth it or not. Let's run this one more time. Okay, so this is the final result. Now we've got soft cotton beanie hat made with recycled stuff. This is a simple soft beanie hat that looks good and feels great. It's made from 100% cotton and we used recycled yarn from old stock. This helps the planet and you get a super comfy, unique hat. So you can maybe see how you can iterate on what you need and what you want. Don't just copy my prompts, guys. Think about what you need and what your customers need. Another piece of advice I can give you, one more piece of advice, is if you give, when we gave the titles of the columns to ChatGPT, if you give more columns, it can draw more information. So what I mean by that is, for example, if you could give the SKU, right? If you thought that would be useful information for it to know, or if you think that the prompt needs to know the color, obviously, or whatever this is, these are the colors that it can be, I guess, or the sizing or the tags or the product category, any information that you think it needs, you can feed to the prompt, right? So obviously materials would be a good one as well. But yeah, I will leave the video there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out SEO Grove if you want more of this done kind of on an automatic and larger scale. And if you're watching all the way to the end of the video, you're an absolute legend. I'll see you very, very soon with some more content. Peace out.